the Fontainebleau Bulldogs, of course, in a very competitive district in District 6-5A, preparing for the upcoming season, which we all hope will take place beginning in early October. Joining us now to talk about his program, entering, I think it's year 6 of his program as a head coach. Of course, he'd been there prior to that as an assistant coach, having served at Hammond and Covington prior to arriving at Fontainebleau, Coach Chris Blocker. And Chris, listen, thank you for the time. Welcome to the show. I hope you're well.
Hey, guys, I appreciate it, and thank you.
Well, listen, Chris, I guess the same question I ask everybody that we have on the show from a high school perspective. Has it been somewhat challenging, extremely challenging, or just minimally challenging to be able to do things the way you have to do things in groups of 25 without gathering your whole team together?
Well, I'm sure you heard it is very, very challenging. And needless to say, we're just trying to be as creative as possible to get through these tough times and do it as safely as we can.
We're all hoping that things change by the 24th when the next announcement is made, and of course that will have everything to do with how the trends are in the state. Talking about what's happened thus far with the LHSAA, I've been a big fan and proponent of what the organization has done to kick the can down the road, to give it every opportunity to happen, and even most recently the plan that was announced to start in October and to play a 6, 7, or 8 game regular season with a playoff schedule. Do you share that sentiment?
Well, look, I'm glad you said that because, some guys out there may not feel the same, but I'm more in line with your thinking. And, the word cancel is something I don't want to hear. And I know the coaches on my staff, feel the same way. Of course, the players do as well. And I think their approach is absolutely awesome. And I'm behind that 100%. Let's go ahead and delay. If we have to delay, let's delay. I think that's the best option as long as we can. And, it gives us a chance. It gives us a little hope. And I think that's important to us. And I'm proud of that fact that the LHSAA and Mr. Bodine has taken that approach.
And then, of course, with regard to the proposals, 6, 7, or 8 games, the coaches I've spoken to, they all want to play as many as possible. Of course, if they do play the 8, then there's the realistic possibility of cutting the playoffs short by a round, which would reduce the number of teams that make it. Somewhere, somehow, there has to be some give and take to make it happen.
No doubt.
Do you have a preferred methodology here? Would you rather play the 8 game regular season, 7, 6, or do you have any preference at all?
At this point in time, I'll take anything that we can get. We've all been working hard. The players involved, the coaches, and the LHSAA working on their plans. Look, honestly, we'll take anything that we can get as long as it's, in a safe atmosphere and we feel like we can get it done. So, as far as a preference on number, of course, a 10-week season would be awesome with playoffs. But if that's not the case, hey, minimize it a little bit, and we'll roll with that.
Fontainebleau in the state playoffs in 2015, 2016, and 2018. 3-7 a year ago. It was tough. Of course, the district is highly competitive and tough. Let's talk a little bit about your team and what you have coming back. And, of course, the good news is on offense, you've got a big quarterback who's talented and has played. Mm-hmm. And you also have a terrific running back who's accumulated nearly 4,000 yards rushing in 3 previous seasons and 36 touchdowns. I guess you start with those skill positions because that's a pretty great place to start, isn't it?
Yeah, with Josh Bailey coming back, he's in his 3rd year starting at that position. And even before I get into that, the guys felt like they cut themselves short. We all did it as a coaching staff. We thought we were a little bit better and would have fared better than what we did last year. Had a ton of really close games. But it is what it is, and they understand that. There's some little things that we have to take care of in order to be successful, especially in the district that we're in. And they're buying into the system, of course, and they get it. Josh Bailey has done an awesome job through his career, and we're looking for him to have an outstanding senior season. He's got all the tangibles. He looks the part, but he also plays the part. He's a brilliant individual. and paired with, our all-star running back and Iverson Celestine, who, of course, committed to Tulane recently. We couldn't be more excited about heading into this year with those guys leading the way.
Offensive line, how do you like your front? Do you feel like you have what you need to be successful in front of those guys?
I do. Most of the guys are coming back. John Chauvier, a senior offensive lineman, will be leading that crew, along with a couple other guys such as Eric Kearns at center and Noah Lash at guard. They all have experience, and again, we are excited to hopefully give them the opportunity to play this year to see what they bring to the table.
Wide receiver position, talk about that if you will.
A little bit young there, other than the fact that Kobe Barnes will be returning. He's got the most experience, really great hands, not a lot of speed, but he's a great route runner, and he brings a lot of leadership to that side of the ball, along with a little slot receiver in Bryce Denley, who is also a senior with a ton of experience that I think will complement that running game that we're hoping to perfect there with Iverson.
Flipping it over to the defensive side of the ball, I guess you got a senior leader in Colin Gagnon at linebacker. I know
we do, and he's every bit as tough as Iverson is on offense. Colin is that guy on the defensive side of the ball, and we're expecting big things out of him, and I know he is of himself. He's had a terrific off season, even though it's been a little bit different. He's done a really good job keeping himself in shape and coming back and leading the crew, along with a couple of other guys, and Avante Alexander, who's a sophomore free safety, who's doing a really good job back there, kind of quarterbacking the formations and the calls. I'm trying to think of the other guy here. Austin Dupuy is another safety there that has some experience and is helping Colin out in what they do in the backfield.
And then, of course, when you look at kicking games, that's always the third aspect. It's seldom talked about, but it really can decide the outcome of games. How do you feel about your kicking game?
I think our kicking game is really well. We've got a little bit of speed this year that we're going to use tremendously with a couple of those guys that we just spoke about, and on top of that, the kicker that we have coming back started as a freshman last year. His name is William Rocha, who'll be a sophomore and has a heck of a leg. And we couldn't be more proud of him, excited about him, what he did last year, and bringing that back into this season should help us out tremendously.
Visiting with Chris Blocker of Fontainebleau High School. Then, of course, you talk about District 6-5A. It's a district of St. Tammany schools, and, of course, also schools from Tangipahoa Parish. And when you look at the league itself, it's incredibly balanced, and I've had several of the coaches on from other schools, and to a man, they all talk about the fact that it's wide open, that as many as 5 schools could really win the league, and it's really hard to pick a team that's just not going to be very competitive. I know, and we had, pretty much everybody on, and North Shore is a team that struggled a bit recently, but a good coach who's rising that program too. Again, I would imagine you feel the same way, that this district is really balanced and up in the air again this year?
Well, we always feel like we have a good chance, and things may not have worked out as well as we'd like last year, but they did the year before that and prior to that. Sometimes you take a lump, and we did, but you learn from those things and you move forward. This district's tough. We have some really good coaches here and in this district, and of course, this COVID situation. We've all been staying in touch with each other. I think it's brought us a little bit closer as a coaching community for sure. And I'm going to tell you, I really love the competition. You take Coach Favre and what he's doing at Slidell High School and what they've been able to accomplish over the last couple of years. Of course, Kenny Sears at St. Paul's, perennial competition there, and what they do. Coach Salter at Covenant High is doing an awesome job. They're always very competitive. Coach Gonzalez at Mandeville. It's a tough district, and knowing these guys and being kind of close-knit with them through the years makes it that much more fun and entertaining, picking each other's brains and in the off season, and then getting after it, in the real season is absolutely exciting and enjoy.
You were at Hammond previously. They've gotten better, and of course, Coach Tierney of Ponchatoula always has really good skill. You just don't get a week off, right?
No, there is no week off. We joke about it. Of course, we're not the SEC, as LSU and Alabama and Georgia in, but we like to compare ourselves to that in the high school level. It's really fun to do, and that's the competitiveness of our district.
A couple more minutes for Chris Blocker of Fontainebleau. Coach, just talk about how important it would be for these young men to be able to have this season as scheduled as opposed to not having a season at all.
Well, look, we all want to be safe, and this, the COVID thing is real. We know that. I know that from experience. I've seen it, and of course the people that have passed from it. That's the most important thing, and I really my heart goes out to those people who have lost loved ones. At the same time, as a father of a athlete that played in the spring sport last year, my daughter Whitney Blocker ran track as a senior and prepared 3.5 years of her career to do that, and she lost it after 2 weeks, and that's a tough deal, and we've been able to manage that, and she struggled. She sure did, and I can only imagine with the football guys this year if something like that would come to fruition. But at the same time, it's about the teachings and not just about the championships and the wins that come with football. It's about dealing with adversity and the lifelong lessons. And if that were to take place, we should hope that those teachings, dealing with adversity and how to handle that, should take hold and help these guys prepare for their future the rest of their lives. And I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. I'm going to keep saying my prayers, and we're going to keep motoring along and hope that they get an opportunity to get out on the field and do what they do best right now.
Well stated. Final thought. In your estimation, can the schools do this safely? I've always maintained that the schools are probably the best place it can possibly be with all the precautions that would be taken and the care they'd be given as compared to being out in the public on a regular basis.
Well, I think we can. I truly think we can, and it's going to take a lot of help from, of course, the staff involved and the school itself, but also the community. And if everybody's involved and shares the same sentiment and goals, I think we can have a season, no doubt.
Chris Blocker, head football coach, Fontainebleau Bulldogs. Thank you so much for the time. Nothing but the best to you, your family, your program, and we all hope and pray that we'll have a chance to see your kids on the field here in a short period of time and that everybody will be enjoying football once again.
Well, look, guys, I appreciate it, and good luck to you, and go Bulldogs.
You got it. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. That's Chris Blocker of Fontainebleau High School.